Alright guys, welcome to my late review of Avatar Way of the Water. So yeah, this is coming late to you guys, but I did see it Thursday night around 11:30 p.m. and this movie's a 3-hour long film and it's 30 minutes of previews. So I didn't get home until about 4 a.m. and I was exhausted. I knew I had to film that day, but I was so tired I couldn't. I had a few days to gather my thoughts. So this film carries on from the previous movie, 13 years probably later. Jake Sully and Neytiri have children, some adopted, some their own. And the Sky People come back, and war commences, and Jake Sully has to make the decision to lead his people or protect his family. He obviously chooses to protect his family, and he takes them off to a new location on Pandora. If you saw my previous review of Avatar from 2009, I did that a couple days ago. I had said that I didn't care too much for the film when it initially came out. But I watched it again very recently. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was a wild ride from beginning to end. Simple story, all that stuff. If you want to see my further thoughts, go back and watch that video. This film, I had hoped that it would be maybe just as good as the previous one. I had a lot of expectations for this film because it's James Cameron. He knows how to tell emotional stories, a lot of times centered around family, such as in Terminator 2 and Aliens. You got very family-esque centric movies there. Yeah, I was hoping this one would be a good story about family, and I think I got not a complex story, but a good story with good characters. I liked all the children. Usually in these kind of movies, I find the children very irritating, annoying, terrible decisions. Don't get me wrong. Some of the children did make bad decisions, but you like their characters. You understand why they are doing what they're doing, their motivations. I thought the children all worked for me. Terry and Jake Sully, great characters as always. I didn't know how I would feel about the villain coming back because I don't like when people are resurrected. But he was fine in this movie. The last movie, he was probably my biggest gripe. He was just a stereotypical villain. In this film, the Colonel comes back as the Avatar, and they do give him a little bit more depth. So I appreciated that. On a technical front, which everyone has said, this film is just gorgeous. Yeah, I went to go see this movie at 11:30. I'd woken up at 6 a.m. that day for work. And I gotta say, I was not tired at all throughout this movie. I was engaged from beginning to end, and the visuals just, oh. When the movie ended, I could have sat there for another hour. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed this film. So from the setting, I think the water, oh my God, filming in that water, the 3D, I saw it in IMAX 3D, in that water was just, it was mesmerizing. It was hypnotic, and it was just so much fun to watch in this world to explore. From the creatures that had personalities, the Tolkiens, I think they're called, the whales, the big whales, great characters. Who would have thought they would have been characters? I didn't know what to think of it when I first saw them, but that was great. The relationships that they had with certain members of the children, how it sets up this movie for further sequels to be explored. I thought it was all great. I really, really enjoyed this film. I am going to go back to the IMAX theater to experience this at least one more time before it gets taken out of theaters. I'm sure it'll be back in the future like Avatar just was. There was a human character that I wasn't fully a fan of. It was a kid, but he was serviceable. I didn't hate him. I didn't like him. I guess we'll see what they do with him in the future. I feel like there's big plans in the future for this character, so we'll see. But yeah, I like Jake Sully. He was good again. It seems like he was almost sidelined. He wasn't fully sidelined, but his kids, I think everyone had an equal part in this film. Maybe Neytiri had a little bit less, but I feel like in the sequel, she's going to be almost the forefront of the family. This movie was all about introducing the family. And I think they did a very, very good job at that. And I want to go back to this world as soon as possible. There's 3 more movies planned. And you can see storylines that are created in this one ready to bloom in the sequels. It's fantastic. What James Cameron did with this story is what Disney should have done with Force Awakens and then through The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. He planned movie after movie after movie. I heard that he had said that the reason why it took 13 years is not because of the technical feat and CGI that he wants to use in this film, but because of the script writing. He wants to create a cohesive story with themes and characters and arcs that go across all of these films. That's what Star Wars needed to do. That's what Avatar is doing, and I'm all on board. James Cameron is a master of spectacle, and I'm ready to see the next film in 2 years. 2 years. So I gave my previous Avatar movie a 9.2 out of 10. I like this movie more. This movie gets a 9.4 out of 10. It was just, I was enthralled all the way around. And I'm looking forward to the sequels because there's tons of storylines that are still left unanswered. I recommend go see this movie in theaters, in 3D. If you're seeing this in 2D, I mean, like, what are you even doing? Everyone's telling you to see it in 3D. It's worth the experience. All right, some spoilers. Just a few spoilers I want to go over. Oh my god, I can't remember her name. The doctor's kid who died in the last movie. Her avatar gave birth to her. No one knows who the father is. Kitty, or whatever her name is. She's going to be the best character in this franchise. At least she's so far mine. Or will be mine. We don't know who her father is. And she has this weird connection with the world and Pandora itself. I almost think that she's like a... I don't want to say it like this, but a messianic character in that the doctor from the previous movie somehow got pregnant with the planet's baby. Like when she got connected to it or whatever, her character got pregnant, and the planet is actually the father. Iwa is the father. So she's going to have a very important role, especially in the last film, The Quest for Iwa. I guarantee it. So that character is going to be interesting to keep an eye out on. The fact that the eldest son died, I thought was surprising because it's a big budget, crowd-pleasing movie, and a lot of times they don't do stuff like that. But I forgot it's James Cameron who's making this film and not just Disney. Disney would not have done it. Disney would have pushed out at it, I guarantee it. I do like the kid who was making all the mistakes, the younger brother. I actually liked him, so I was okay with a lot of the mistakes he was making. His connection with the Tolkien was fantastic. That relationship was my favorite relationship in the film, actually, and it was a whale and a kid. Who would have thought? I would never have thought I was saying that coming out of this film. So the Colonel in the previous movie had a son that we didn't know about. Whatever, who cares? And he's the kid I had the most issues with in the entire film, and the character. He's the human boy that was left behind, and I liked the fact he was always going back and forth with his motivations. I think it's going to be better explained in the sequels, but for now it's a little wishy-washy. And Neytiri was about to kill him. I felt it in her voice and her actions that she was going to kill him if the Colonel didn't give up and let her daughter go. Go see it in IMAX. Go see it in IMAX 3D. It is worth the price of admission. It is a 9.4 out of 10, and I will see you guys next time.